Hey folks, Vinod here. One of the most frequently requested videos, mobile photography. Let's go. Our mobile phones have gotten better over time and so have their cameras. Thing is, the mobile phone, the sensor is a very small sensor. So you'll have to remember that you need a lot of light for mobile phones to get sharper and clearer pictures. So make sure you're taking your photos outside, during the broad daylight or probably near window light, the light coming from a window into your room, or you could use an external source like a constant source, which will help you, better with your mobile photography. Let's talk about composition today. Composition is nothing but how you frame your subject, okay, the main subject, and where you place the subject. That makes a lot of difference in viewing, and that's what is most important. It's not about what kind of phone you have or how expensive is it or how great the camera is. You can take simple photos and make them better by using certain rules, which we'll talk about now. Our tendency is to keep the object or the subject rather bang in the center of the frame. So you know where you keep the subject in the center of the frame? In your passport photos, right? So don't do that. So photography is about pleasing the eye to the viewer or to yourself. So don't keep the subject in the center. You don't know where the subject is, what the subject is doing. Most of the times you don't know what's there in the background if you keep the subject in the center of the frame. So you enable something called as a grid here on your phone. Go to grid and enable the 3x3 grid. And there is something called as rule of thirds. So you can keep the subject in the intersection of one of these lines. Now since the subject is facing to the right, I'm going to keep the subject on the left intersection, which means the subject is facing right and I'm leaving a lot of space on the right. So this is rule of thirds. You can use any of these intersections and frame your subject. You can take portraits also with this rule. If the subject is looking to the left, you probably have to leave space on the left. If the subject is looking right, you leave some space on the right. This will give a lot of pleasing results to the eye and to the viewer as well. Another thing that you can use to your advantage are these lines. They are called as leading lines. So you can use lines to frame the subject along with the rule of thirds. So here I've kept the subject on the top right intersection of the grid, and I'm using these lines on the table to frame my subject. You can tap the screen to focus on the subject and take a photo. This way you will ensure that the focus is not missed. So make sure you tap on the subject before you take the photo. And you can use leading lines such as railings or patterns on the floor, anything that is there. You can probably also use curved lines, S-shaped curved, or normal curved lines which are facing towards the subject as leading lines. There are other compositional rules or techniques you can apply, but let's stick to these two today, that is the rule of thirds and leading lines. We'll discuss the other techniques in the future videos. Please subscribe to our social media handles on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, and we'll see you in the next one.